From above and below, dozens of searchers desperately tried to find the missing boy. 3-year-old Dylan Ehler was visiting his grandmother yesterday afternoon. She got distracted by a dog for only a moment, and then he wandered away. Police found first one of his rubber boots in a brook near the home, then the other further down near the mouth of the rushing Salmon River. Despite the efforts of dive teams, search dogs, helicopters, and dozens of people using drones, thermal imaging, and an underwater camera, police say the search hasn't produced any new clues. Tonight, they switched from a rescue to a recovery operation. One family's heartache felt deeply by a province already grieving so much loss.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Is he doing that?
You like it?
Before I even get started, I just want to say, please try to think before you speak. And remember that these are real people. This is his family and his friends that are going to see what you're saying. This is not a TV show. This is a real missing little boy. And this video, the purpose of this video is to try to help and find him. This is not the video to be voicing your evil, disgusting opinions. Anything like that will be deleted. I'm just letting you know now. Don't waste your breath. With that out of the way, let's discuss the missing persons case for 3-year-old Dylan Ehler. Dylan was last seen at his grandmother's house on Elizabeth Street in Truro, Nova Scotia, and he has been missing since May 6th, 2020. The story is from his grandmother that she turned around to chain up the dog and he was playing in the backyard. And when she turned back around, he was gone. And I have an interview, actually this video has an interview with Jason, Dylan's father, and he has some opinions about that. So I'll leave that to him to talk about. But the story is, within a few seconds, Dylan was gone and the grandmother couldn't find him. So she called the police. I actually live just 10 minutes away from where it happened. And I remember coming home. I'm not exactly sure how much time had passed since the police had been called, but basically the entire town was outside looking for Dylan. We couldn't even get home, really. There was cars everywhere, there was people everywhere, and we had stopped and asked what was going on and if that we could be of assistance. So we were told that Dylan was missing and that everyone was looking for him and that we should go home because there was too many people looking and it could be also destroying any evidence. So we went home, and later that day there was actually news coverage already, and they had actually found his boots in the river. And so the theory was that there is a little brook behind the grandmother's house, and the theory was that Dylan had went to play and fell in the brook, and the brook had been kind of high that day because it had been raining, and he floated down the brook and into the river, the Salmon River. And that is, I believe, where they found his boots. If not, I will correct myself here on the screen. They found his boots in 2 different places, I think up near the brook and further down. And it went from a rescue mission after they found that to a recovery mission. And a lot of people have some theories, and to be honest, it's been a year, and there has been dive teams and just people have been looking. Jason and his supporters have been down looking in areas for him everywhere, and they have found nothing, not even a body. In that short period of time that he went missing, from the grandmother not seeing him for a few seconds to him just completely gone, rumors have been swirling. It is hard to just believe that he just fell in the river, but the boots are something that kind of solidifies that theory. The only thing is, I do wonder if there was something that might have happened in terms of maybe he was taken and maybe the boots were thrown in the river to throw off the scent, which can sound kind of like a long shot. But it is very hard to believe that after all of this time, they have not found anything. None of his clothes, not a body. I hate to say that because I hate to think that he's passed away. And you can actually see in the interview as well, Jason does wonder himself, much like myself, if something else did happen. This is my own personal opinions. This is not fact. I just want to state that. It's possible maybe the grandmother was distracted for longer and somebody took Dylan. And lots of the rumors out there have been, like, as you all know right now, human trafficking is huge. And it is a real possibility because it is really happening to people and is really happening to children. And that's horrifying to think, but it is a possibility. The police do not think that's a possibility. They actually have said that there is no evidence of foul play. That is a difficult one. I do understand evidence that makes it seem like he did go into the river, but we do have to admit to have not found anything but his boots after all this time. It makes you really wonder what might have happened. And because of that, I wanted to make this video, because if Dylan is out there, if someone did take him, his family and I want to make sure that his face is out there. His name is out there, and if he is out there, we can bring him home. So as I was saying, I did do, because of COVID, I couldn't do an in-person interview, but we did do a question and interview, and Jason has sent me recordings of himself answering my questions, hopefully to help see it more from the family side, maybe the people that are voicing their opinions based off rumors and almost dehumanizing them, making them like TV show characters, can see that they're real people and something really bad happened to them and their family, and they're dealing with it the best way that they can.
So let's now get into the interview with Jason Ehler, Dylan Ehler's father. I will be putting the questions on the screen, and then following will be his answers.
So, things that my son loved doing. That's an amazing question, really. He loved to do everything. He was the most energetic child. He was big on balancing on chairs, blocks, anything he could set up in a row and balance across. Real big in playing in the dirt. He always loved reading Dr. Seuss with me, the picture pop-up book. Loved it. Our patty cake song together. He was just one of them very energetic children that he basically would love to do anything. Didn't matter what it was, he was happy. Always smiling. I miss him so much. I would do anything to see that beautiful smile one more time. You know, just that amazing child. So, the day my son went missing, May 6th, 2020, I'll never forget that day. I woke up that morning. I remember getting into an argument with my mom a little bit about bringing Dylan over. It was a bit of a change for my parents. They're older, you know. So, and Dylan was he was a handful, nonstop. Loved that about him. I did. We agreed on having Dylan over. So, you know, it must have been 2:15. I started messaging Dorothy on Messenger to see if she knew where Ashley was, or, you know, where Dylan was, so I could pick him up. And then nothing. I didn't get a response from her, so I tried calling Ashley's phone, but it was broken, so I don't even know why I bothered trying. So anyway, I left, we all got into the car, me, my mom, my sister, and we drove down to a convenience store's Needs on Yonge Street at the top. I grabbed a drink and a pack of smokes. I jumped back in the car and, continued driving down. I remember clearly as we were getting over the tracks, the second set, and I seen the cops on the side of the road, not in front of Dorothy's, but on the neighbors across, just up on Queen a little more. And anyways, we turned on to Elizabeth, still wasn't thinking nothing of it, and then I seen a cop in Dorothy's driveway, grandmother, and right there I was nervous, but I wasn't just hear about Ashley, or I don't know what I thought. But I got into the car and I said, I'm just here to get a phone number and to pick up my son wherever he may be, Dorothy's or with Ashley. That's when the blonde-haired Truro police officer told me my son was missing. And I've been trying to pick him up ever since. You know what that's like to just go out on a regular day to pick up your son. And 10 months later, you're still trying to pick up your son. People want to know how I'm coping or how we're coping. Not good. It's not good at all. It's unimaginable. The pain is unreal. There's no name to describe what's happening. And then on top of that, we get ransoms. We've had 7 or 8 different ransom letters. Horrible, horrible, disgusting letters. And then you get all these tips and sightings, and the cops will call you and we got a sighting of your child. Can you come down and look at some footage? And you do, and you're excited. You're like, oh my God, we might, this could be him. We get down there, we watch the videos, and the real big crappy thing about this whole situation is COVID-19. So any child on recording is wearing a mask. So, a lot of the footage, the kids are wearing masks, they look so much like Dylan. So many different little things, the movement, the way he's acting in the video, is that Dylan? And then you have to sit and wait for weeks just to find out it's not him. Broken heart after broken heart after broken heart. And then the cyberbullying on top of that. All we want is to find our son, bring him home.
I just wanted to add something in. Now that I'm editing, I realized that I missed speaking about this, but the family is actually taking legal action against some Facebook groups that are the main cause for the cyberbullying, and I'm just going to insert that clip here.
Parents of a toddler who disappeared last spring are taking their fight against cyberbullying to court. They allege they were targeted with online threats and false allegations about how their son disappeared. And as we hear now from CTV's Sarah Plowman, 10 months later, they say it's still going on.
Dylan Ehler disappeared in May. The 3-year-old was in his grandmother's backyard in Truro. Despite an exhaustive search, he hasn't been found. His parents say cyberbullying has hindered their search.
I think of hundreds of people talking bad about you, saying you killed your son or you had something to do with it. How many people are going to want to come and help them family members?
They blame Facebook groups, now named in a civil action. The couple hopes the judge will order the groups to be shut down and award them damages under a new cyberbullying law brought in following the death of Rtea Parsons.
There are 2 Facebook groups in particular that we're trying to get shut down.
Tom Hurley is one of the administrators for one of the groups.
I feel bad for them. I really do. But they also got to remember that we're not the only ones doing it. The only reason we're here today is because we didn't hide behind fake accounts like everybody else is doing.
Hurley's page has already been taken down, but the couple worries it won't be permanent.
Ultimately, they're able to open it and close it whenever they want at this point. And so we're looking for an order that they can't do that anymore.
Like I said, I'm sorry that the family is going through that. Our intentions were to try to help them find Dylan and figure out what we can do next and all that stuff there. And it was going good from the beginning, and then something turned somewhere.
Dylan's parents would rather be focusing on their priority, finding their son.
Find answers or closure or, whatever the case may be. But for me, it's to close it down and actually try and help this little boy. That's what it's all about, is a little boy.
The matter is scheduled to be back in court April 6th to set a date for a hearing. None of the allegations has been proven in court. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Truro.
How are we dealing with the cyberbullying? It's tough all the way around, especially on our mental health. You have no idea. I don't even want to go outside half the time anymore. I look at people differently. But the most important thing is, and I don't even care about myself, What's important is that people show up for these public searches. And the cyberbullying is putting a big impact on search events. Public doesn't want to come and help us probably because they don't want our drama to follow them. I feel like I've lost friends through this. I've lost so much. You guys want to know how we feel? We feel like we could really use some support right now. Let's bring Dylan home. What do I think happened? What do the parents think happened? Well, I can speak for both me and Ashley for this. We don't feel like she did it on purpose, the grandmother. But we definitely feel like there's 100% neglect to supervise a child. And that means neglect to supervise a child for his own safety. You shouldn't have been tying the dog. You should have been watching Dylan. A brief second's way too fast. I don't know what happened that day. Probably we'll never know. That doesn't make sense. I also believe that anything's possible. Someone could have abducted him, kidnapped him, but he also could have just fell in the brook. So I'm asking the public, friends, family, if you're able to walk a few hours, please join us this spring and summer. Our search events are on Facebook. You can find us at Dylan Ehler Search Update Group on Facebook. Join, help, support. Let's bring Dylan home. Dylan, if you're out there and you see this, I will find you and I will bring you home. I will use everything I have. I will push and I will rip tear everything to find you. I will find out the truth. I will find out what happened. And I will never give up on Dylan, you're my everything. I love you more than anything in this world. And without you, I'm nothing. So believe me when I tell you that I'm coming for you and I will bring you home. I love you so much, buddy. Nova Scotia's strong. You're the strongest Nova Scotian I know. I love you.
I just want to put Dylan's picture up on the screen and just give you a description. Because like I said, I want to keep his name out there and I want to keep his face out there in case we can find him and bring him home. Dylan Ehler, missing since May 6, 2020, approximately 3 feet tall, 32 pounds, light brown hair, left eye is hazel, and his right eye is half hazel, half blue.
Dylan was last seen wearing these clothing items.
If you have any information at all about the possibility of where Dylan might be, his whereabouts, I will leave all the contact information in the description box down below. And for people in the area, I will also leave support groups and some information to searches that Jason will be running looking for his son. I do plan on trying to make this a bit of a series because in Nova Scotia there is a ton of missing persons cases and no coverage. So if you have any suggestions or you have a family member or a friend that you would like me to discuss, just send me, I will leave my email down in the description. Send me an email and hopefully we can get talking. On that note, I'm going to end the video now. All the information is in the description. Don't forget to like and share because we want to get his name and his picture out there, so hopefully we can bring him home. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.